Bridgefield, that's where I met Tom. We both worked with at Bridgefield. And let me just say, I'm going to start, these are the 3 books right here. This is the first one, which was basically during the Yellow Vest movement, was what this was. I guess it became current again because they're burning down barracks again. That was followed by this one because I realized that everything I talked about in here was coming out through COVID. And this is the 3rd one, which one of the reasons for writing the 3rd one is I missed the January 6th riot. And I said, gee, I really should have that there. And I've actually, I was thinking of just having it as a trilogy, but I'm actually starting to work on a 4th because I think that the stuff that's going on with Ukraine and what's going on with the financial stuff is very much in keeping with the stuff that I've written. And I actually like the singer that there, he was talking about activism. This is activism. And this will come out in the 3rd book. It is not out in the other one. And this is entitled An Absence of Media. And I'm just going to do a piece from it. Citizen journalists needed, all are welcome. We'll put out a paper disguised as a book. Bring whatever talent you have. If you're a poet, write poems. If you're a painter, paint pictures. If you're a songwriter, sing songs. Your country needs you. You need to document this time in the moment. Welcome to the dystopian states of America, 2023. Maybe I have the power to change things if I only did a better job writing my diatribes. If I was only more influential, more pointed, I could pull us out of this morass. I could use any nearby writing utensil to scratch out my ideas on a broadsheet. I'd publish it in crayon if I had to. I'd self-publish, pass out flyers on the street, no charge. Each new reflection would make the citizens aware that we're heading toward an abyss and that we must turn the government around. A people with sense that I'm either the sincerest truth teller or an escapee from a lunatic asylum. You be the judge. Now we can begin. Okay, I'm going to do one from the book Liberté or whatever. And this really was what set me off on this adventure. Is I was down there for the Freedom of Choice, what was it? It was a big union drive that tried to increase union activity. It was right at the start of the Obama years. It never went anywhere, which is why you never heard of it. But we were all down there lobbying, and what it did give me is a good story. The best and the brightest and the cutest come to Washington, the last of the true believers. They believe in our cause, the face of our union. They're young girls, recent college graduates, transplanted to Washington, D.C. Politicians are their rock stars, and though their drive seems unrealistic, they believe great things are possible. Some politicians are nicer than you'd imagine. Others are almost lecherous. The former head of the union, credited with growing the union exponentially, has recently entered into a business venture with the business leaders diametrically opposed to everything he stood for. The girls seem unaware. Friday morning, the girls register recently harassed workers into the conference. I receive a packet. I'm directed to the main meeting room. Once inside, these girls help facilitate the training. Behind them, a guy in 50s in a suit and tie and arms attached observes the room. He's balding and wiry and silently in control. During the break, I meet Tara. She's in her early 20s, has puffy cheeks and succulently burst out of her clean dress. She's smart, motivated, a self-starter. She has skills that the union wants to possess. Tara's pro-union sentiment probably comes from her father, a Milwaukee teacher. I could be Tara's father. I try to think of this. We talk. She's single. I seem like a nice guy. I don't feel like one. She asked if I have any single nephews. Definitely deflated. I'm really not interested in her like that. In fact, I don't know what I'm interested in her at all. She's the shiny object that I can't possess. Later during the lull, Tara says, I'm working for Congressional Jones campaign. I once believed what I read in textbooks about how bills became laws, but since coming here, I realize there's so much more. I teach social studies. I still believe in those textbooks. My company cultivates politicians. They fire people for no reason. It's the employees, its employees are powerless. In DC, we're treated as fodder, props either for the politicians who pretend to care or who periodically give us legislative beatdown on behalf of their clients. My company influences me. I have assertively reached a point where I'm slightly more powerful than totally powerless. I consider running for office as my co-worker's voice. Carol latches on to my seriousness. She says running for office requires resources. You can't start fundraising too early. Money in politics is the problem, I say. But what do you do if you don't want to take money from the same sources that everyone else does? Exasperated, Tara sounds like she's talking to a child. I can't help you there. I turn away. The guy in the suit who I'd seen her earlier goes to her. He cordons her off from the herd, turns her, immediately speaks to her while backing her into a corner. I watch. He moves her hair from her eyes. If I were Tara's father, I wouldn't want my daughter near him, no matter how good he is for her career. Saturday, the bill is debated. That morning, the union fills the viewing areas. Some people get in. I don't. I stand outside holding a placard that someone else wrote. Some people in suits who work for the people who run the town are disdainful. We take their seats in the public viewing areas. They think, why don't you go home? Later, Tara and the others, roughly the same age, lead marches through the streets. Like lambs to the slaughter, we follow. We target the banks and put on notice that their day is over. It's street theater, and people who work there watch the show from windows high above. Next, the girl leads us to the Chamber of Commerce, where plainclothes ex-military protect the movers and shakers from a scattering of college girls and a collection of workers who need a better job. They watch us through mirrored sunglasses and communicate via hidden microphones and listening devices. It's a routine that everyone except us knows. Makes me think of Blackwater. Saturday night, our last day, the union throws a party. Many of the girls who lead the seminar come. It's time to blow off steam. I look for Tara, but she isn't there. It's late. I'm drunk. I'm going to bed. Tara suddenly cuts through the party. Drunk and sloppy, still in college, she holds a cheap plastic souvenir beer stein. The strap of her tank top is around her bicep and her black bra strap is showing. Tara's growing up. She's changing, disconnecting from those who care about her. Her mascara runs. She says, I can't believe you did that. The middle-aged man who was with her earlier tries to quiet her. You know how it works. This was as much your idea as it is mine. He grabs her arm. Tara tears it back. He'll get the fuck away from me. Go back to your room. You're clearly drunk. A recurring argument. Tara's arm appears to be bruised. Her jeans are ruffled like a half-made bed. The man looks embarrassed for both of us. Tara stumbles away from the party and into the bowels of the hotel. The man follows. I return to my room, disappointed in myself and glad I'm leaving in the morning. Sunday morning, we prepare to leave. Tara and the man, either together or apart, sleep off their alcohol. As the business community rolls out on television a blitz on every TV station, anti-union commercials made weeks in advance to undermine everything we did. We have jobs we can't afford to stay and fix whatever damage they created. Amateurs competing with professionals. We have numbers, they own the airwaves. The city's powerful continue to sully all that's good and decent. Our political allies, safely ensconced in multi-year terms, lose interest in our cause. They destroy our ideals, our future. The best and the brightest is held captive. The only time they take our issues seriously is during election. So that actually that's some relevance in reality. Okay, so we're gonna advance forward. This is the second one, and this is about the George Floyd protests. What these are about. This particular one, and it's called "The Police and the Protesters." Stories come out. Our signs call for peace, love, and justice. The police carry military-grade weapons as metal canisters skips across the asphalt and tear gas, outlawed in war zones, walk towards us. The police shoot rubber bullets with hard metal inside at us like they're playing pinball and we're it, paintball and we're it. The looters give our movement a bad name. We don't control them. We're to blame for them just the same. Our side has to justify every bad actor who shows up at the protest. Their side doesn't. We are faceless would-be terrorists, though 95% of us are peaceful. We are suspicious nobodies. We are Americans. The police are nervous. Several have been caught on television and the internet doing despicable things. They can say it's just a bad apple, but the cell phone cameras keep unearthing other uniformed bad apples. It's a mistake for the police to close ranks and to try to protect their screw-ups. It makes it all the harder to bring them back to our side of the law. The police use hard plastic shields to clear a path forward. We demand change. They're fine with the status quo. The legal system has less interest in holding them accountable than they do in holding us accountable. Too often in the past, the police have been allowed to break heads. We don't have the luxury. Their bad deeds are always justified by what might have happened before the cameras went on. Once ours are never excused by it. The people at the front are young, energetic, and incredibly brave. There's a black girl in her 20s, skinny as a rail, with a black kerchief around her face. The kerchief is used in both the pandemic and the fog of tear gas. She wears skinny jeans and a black t-shirt with Black Lives Matter on it. Some white adults are offended by her choice in wardrobe, as she is by their overall indifference. She's opposed by much larger men outfitted like extras in Mad Max or Robocop. The only thing threatening about her is her mouth and her willpower. On Facebook, the police and their families don't create original slogans but co-opt hers by posting things like All Lives Matter and Blue Lives Matter. It seems to be their way of saying that her black life doesn't matter. Whites who favor the protesters have to justify their leanings like they're traitors to a race war that they didn't start and don't believe in. Pictures of the policemen who have been killed during the protest are posted, a tragedy, no doubt. Still, it was a chance they took in their chosen profession. Bad things can happen to this girl too, only she isn't paid to be here. She's only armed with her beliefs. Some post pictures of cops who've been killed by lawless criminals outside the protest, which conflates the issues. This girl is intelligent, talent, someone who should be leading the country into the 21st century. Instead, she's out in the street risking her life because she dares to be dissatisfied. As one protester said, focus on who's holding the leash rather than the growling dogs. Somewhere far away, nowhere near the police, are those who are truly in charge. Sometimes they'll favor our First Amendment rights, though they just wish we'd shut up. Sometimes they'll pretend to favor property rights, though they just wish we'd shut up. To paraphrase early Bob Dylan, both sides of the protest are really just pawns in the game. Meanwhile, the politicians talk about Venezuela, North Korea, and Iran, and how their governments need to be replaced for mistreating its citizens. Kettle meat pot. For any lasting peace in this country, a final recognition that black lives truly matter, and not have a movement treated like a corporate PR stunt designed to sell jeans.